Hello, Georgia. Welcome to Behind the Business.
We're back. Hello.
I know, I was actually just thinking this before. I don't think I've ever brought in a guest twice onto the podcast. You were the first.
I
So
love this. Well, thank you so much for having me.
of course, I thought it would be, we were overdue because so much growth has happened for you since the last time you were on the podcast. I should have double checked when that actually was, but it was probably a good year ago or more. And so to have you back in this space to share your new wisdom, learnings, all the things, is going to be really, really exciting.
Oh yeah, like I feel like I've had like 40 lifetimes in that time. Like so much has changed. I've been through so many transitions and I think that's what it really happens when you go all in on your growth and on your life, like things just change so quickly. So yeah, there's lots to talk about.
100%. So, this podcast is really about looking behind the business of someone's business, but also behind the human of the business. And I'm a really big fan of this because I think it's so good and well and easy to talk about everyone's highlight reels and their wins, which we will discuss, obviously, because there's a place for that and it's so important. But I think what's so refreshing for people to hear is also like, the duality that comes in business and life and how you actually show up in business and navigate those things throughout that. So first of all, did you want to share for those that maybe didn't like haven't listened to that podcast episode, like who you are, who you help, just a tiny little bit about you so we've got some context and then we'll start unpacking things.
Yes, of course. So I'm Georgia St. John Smith, and I one of my main things that I support women with is growing their business in a way that's really aligned with your heart and soul. And so that's a core piece of my work. And then I have this gift in human design. I have two like main gifts. One of them is self-expression, and the other one is marketing. So I never really like learned marketing other than through my business and actually doing marketing in my business and then getting so geeky about it. We've just spoken about this on my podcast as well. But there's that, they're my two zones of genius. And then so a huge platform that I've really grown on a lot is LinkedIn. And so I support people to grow on LinkedIn. I see it as just such an incredible platform, of course, for anyone in business because it's a business platform. It's the number one platform where the most money in the world gets done between businesses. And so, of course, we want to be there, and that's what I help women do in their businesses, but not in the sense of like, oh, let's blend in, let's put a blazer on. Like I've been totally different to that. That self-expression piece really comes out on LinkedIn. So I've really created this whole different world on LinkedIn of women who are like so free and sharing their passions and their joys as well as their business and getting paid a lot of money through that. So yeah, that's what we do.
So amazing. And I know that you also recently just celebrated 70,000 followers on LinkedIn, I believe.
Yeah, literally like yesterday.
Yeah, congratulations. That's such an incredible milestone. What would be your three biggest tips when it comes to gaining such a following on LinkedIn that you've learned? I know that that's such a big question, but
Mm.
for anyone that's like maybe already on LinkedIn or considering, like what's some things that from your perspective helped you get to those 70,000 followers?
Yeah, like number one, have something to say. I had so much to say from day one when I started growing on LinkedIn. So much to say that is actually contrary to what most people are saying on the platform. I have been like very like anti 9 to 5 from day one. My bosses got me, like my ex-bosses have all got me on LinkedIn, and I'm sure they see my stuff and they're like, what is this woman doing? But it's something that like I've never allowed that kind of like fear of judgment to stop me. And I think that's why I built such a powerful movement because I've just said things that most people are scared to pay, but a lot to say, but a lot of people really, really agree with. So number one, like have something to say. Like, what do you believe in that is actually quite different to what most people believe in? I think a lot of people get a little bit stuck on this, overthink it, and it really comes down to like that sense of purpose, right? Of like, this is my purpose, this is what I'm here to do. And I remember I'm like very into like spiritual and woo things. And I was in Ibiza and I was doing this meditation, and it was all about like taking you back to your purpose from like even before you were born, like imagining yourself like almost like astral traveling to earth and like with this purpose. And this image just came into my brain and I could just see it was like a visualization. And I didn't understand it at the time. I had no idea. I was like, what is this? And it was this visualization of like me going around with a key, unlocking people out of cages. And at that point, I was like, what is this? Like, this is weird. Like, why am I unlocking people out of cages? And as time went by, about a year later, I was like, oh, this is like freeing people from what they thought they had to be, the cage that you actually create yourself for your life, for your business sometimes as well. I think so many people think like business, professional, blazer, like I have to look this way, everything has to be perfect. And I've kind of done the opposite. I've shared a lot of very messy things on LinkedIn. And it's something that I think people have constantly said to me. They've said, this is such a breath of fresh air. Thank you for sharing this. So I think for you, really like come back to really what you have to say that's big, that's bold, that's out there. This is what my LinkedIn leopard method, like the leopards are always stand out. A leopard doesn't change her spots, she owns them. And so that's you like really owning who you are. That would be number one. Number two, you've got to learn how to work the platform. And so get geeky with it, spend time on LinkedIn. I think a lot of people will maybe repurpose an Instagram post, plop it on LinkedIn. Maybe it'll do okay, maybe it won't. And that's as far as the effort tends to go. Someone even asked me the other day, you know, oh, could I get my VA to repurpose my stuff and put it on LinkedIn? I was like, yeah, you can if you want to plod along. Like that, you
I think a
can.
lot of people would do that. So what's the difference in the energy or effort that should go into it other than repurposing?
Yeah, it's the same for any platform. Honestly, if you want to go on a platform, you want to own it, you want to dominate, you want to not just like plod along, but you want to really grow and you want to monetize and make a ton of money from that platform. You have to be invested and you have to have a very core, strong purpose around that. And so if you're repurposing from Instagram, it's just like minimum effort and it's going to get minimal results. And it's actually, if you do that, it's better than doing nothing. So, like, this isn't to say, like, oh no, like, it's the worst thing ever. Like, it's better than doing nothing because I truly believe LinkedIn is like a core, strong platform that if you're not already on there, you do want to be on there as a business owner. But it's only going to get stronger and stronger. But of course, like minimal efforts equals minimal results. And so, like, think about anyone who's ever done anything incredible on any kind of platform. They've gone so geeky and so like granular into like, let me just learn on this platform. And that's what I did. And I really sharpened my skills of copywriting. So, say, for example, with like Instagram, visuals are very powerful and it's very much around like what your reels look like, what it looks like as a brand. And this is actually something that I really love about LinkedIn is people remember you for your words. They remember you for what you have to say. And so if you want people to actually read your stuff, you want to get really good at copywriting. And I'm not talking about like messaging and copywriting that you would do on Instagram. This is a real cut above. It's a whole new world of like hooks and like really learning how to bring someone in to read every word from everything down from the top line. You want to be adding numbers, you want to be adding statistics, you want to be showing before and after, like something really like that sparks someone's curiosity in the top line to get them to want to read the rest. And then when they're reading the rest, you want to make it so easy for them to read until the end. And so formatting can also be really good for that, like having just gaps between your sentences, making your words look like a triangle, like very simple things, but actually it's an art of learning how to copyright. And so this is what I did that really, really helped me was I just got so granular into like, copywriting. I started learning more and more and more about it. Even though I've always been a natural writer, like it just took it to a whole new level. And you don't have to be a natural writer, by the way. Like you can You can
Learn
learn
it.
it as
Yeah.
well. Yeah, so that's the top two things. And then the third thing I would say, like, is consistency. Like if you are going to go on there, post minimum 3 to 5 times per week, and you will grow your account purely because you're showing up and you're learning every single post. Learn what went well, what didn't go well, how can I improve this? And you will do 10 times better than other people.
I love that. And do you post, like, I know on Instagram you post a lot of reels and stuff. On LinkedIn, do you do that as well, or is it mostly just photos that does better?
No, yeah, a lot of that kind of B-roll real stuff like will die on LinkedIn. It just doesn't work. Maybe it would change in the future, but I don't think significantly if you are going to do a video. So they did trial out video, and I do believe they're going to bring the video feed back. I spoke to someone who works at LinkedIn, and she said they're working on integrating it back into the algorithm. So I think they will bring back video, but it's not going to be like lifestyle, Instagram, like nothing like that. It's LinkedIn is like they want to see your expertise. People want to learn something, like really like go away a little bit, change. So like talking heads videos I would do on LinkedIn. Or maybe if I'm doing a whole sketch or something like just really engaging 100%. But apart from that, it's a written platform.
Wow. And from your personal perspective, knowing that video is so strong across the board on pretty much every other platform, why do you think that just doesn't land? It's not like they're different human beings. Like the people on LinkedIn also would be on other social media platforms where they consume video. So why do you think that that's the case? Is it the intention people come onto LinkedIn for that's different and therefore it doesn't resonate, or what do you think it is?
I think that's a big, big part of it. A lot of people who are on LinkedIn do not look at TikTok. I don't have TikTok. I
Yeah.
am not interested. I find it the biggest waste of time and like a hole that I just don't want to get into. So, like, that's one thing. I think a lot of people who go on LinkedIn, and also you go to different places for different things.
True.
Like, you go to a coffee shop to get a coffee, you go to a library to read, like, you go to, and this is LinkedIn is a place where people often will go specifically to do business. And so they're in a different headspace.
Mm,
We're not scrolling late at night, like looking for a bit of a relaxed time. Like this
true.
is where people are in the day. Like they wake up in the morning, read LinkedIn like you would read a newspaper, like you would read an article. And this is something like newspapers are still massive, right? And so well, there's a reason. And I remember when I first started posting on LinkedIn, it was wild. Like someone messaged me and was like, Georgia, I love reading your articles. And I was like, articles? What articles? And then I realized that's how they were viewing my posts.
This makes so much sense. I love this so much. So when you're creating Instagram content, because I know you obviously do that as well, do you just like insert an entirely different brain to create that content?
Not entirely different. There's
Yeah,
always like, there's still like the creator and the marketer that comes out when creating both pieces of content. But yeah, different hooks will work better on Instagram to what work on LinkedIn, and different styles of content. And also, to be honest, different conversations. So
Mm,
I am in a different headspace. Like I love sometimes just sitting and creating like some really fun like creative reels on Instagram, and I'll just be in, yeah, I will be in a totally different space to when I'm creating on LinkedIn. But what it helps me with as well sometimes is if I've got like this awesome like reel and stuff and I'm like, oh, I just want like a quick amazing caption, I can just literally like take that from LinkedIn and put it onto Instagram. So if anything, like if you are repurposing anything, like you
do it
can
the other
create such
way.
strong words, yeah, do it from LinkedIn to Instagram.
That makes so much sense. Thanks for sharing. Okay, so now people know your expertise around LinkedIn, and that's, one of the things that you specialize in with your clients. Tell me a little bit more about, I suppose, I really should have found out the date when you were last on my podcast, but let's just say over the last
Mm.
year, I know in general you have up leveled both personally and professionally in more ways than I can count on fingers. So what would you say has been one of the biggest lessons that you have learned over the last year of like scaling your business? It can even be a personal thing that's impacted business, or I know one thing, I've not made this easy, but what's just one thing that really stands out?
I would. This is like, wow, this is the hardest question you could have asked me because I just want to talk about everything. But it's good, right? It increases your skills to be able to condense like a year into one
Yeah.
thing.
Even if there's a few
Um,
things, that's okay. But yeah, just some really pivotal things that you believe has played a significant role in being an energetic match for the results that you bring in today. Like you would have had to up level
yeah.
internally quite a bit to hold that.
Yeah, so honestly, the one thing that is just coming through very strongly right now, and I feel like it's coming through because someone needs to hear it, is boundaries.
Mm.
And it's not something that I thought I had a problem with before, just to be very clear. And I actually think most people don't think they have any issues with boundaries in business and life. But what will happen is actually you're going around with zero boundaries half of the time. And actually, I see clearly now to what that looked like. And I will tell you this, like when you do start to implement healthy boundaries, people will start to not like you more. like people like you sometimes, and it's a harsh truth, like people like you, whether that's a client in your business that maybe starts to change, whether that's actually a friend or even family, sometimes certain people like you because they can walk all over you. They like that. They get what they need from you. They'll call you when they have a problem. For me, within my business, it looked like one of the biggest things I did that really helped me was I stopped sales calls. And I know a lot of people do sales calls and they love them. And I'm not going to say don't ever do it. But for me personally, that's something that helped me with my boundaries and also worked with the style of business that I like to do. So I stopped sales calls and it was amazing because I was like, you know what? I don't need to get on a call with people. If you want to buy my thing, you can buy it actually. You can just buy it. Or like take yourself through that whole clarity call process. And it really up leveled me because I started to respect my time so much. I started to have so much more time, and that frequency was relayed. And so many of my clients have said to me, George, you know why I signed on with you? It's because you did not follow up with me. You did not chase me. And it made me think, like, why is she not chasing me? And actually, it gave me space to feel good and want to invest. So that was a really powerful thing in terms of having boundaries. And also in my personal life as well, like what I will and won't accept, what I am and am not available for, changed a lot.
I love that answer so much because it's so true that what we, tolerate in our life, if it's unaligned or, time consuming, obviously plays a role in our energy, and our energy plays a big role on, the results that we're going to get in our life. So thank you for sharing that because I'm sure people listening, like someone needed to hear that and can take from that of like, where am I letting people walk all over me and how is that stopping me from holding more? Like I can already imagine for some people, they don't want to sign on more clients because currently they people please and, bend over backwards for people, that the thought of having more clients just means more of that. And if that's exhausting and you're at your capacity now, then even if consciously you want more clients, subconsciously you don't have space for it. And I know that letting go and creating space is really important to be able to expand and grow more.
Yeah, massively.
I love that. Now, tell me a little bit about some of the challenges that you have had to go through also to get here. Like, this is where I love knowing the human behind the business and the success because everyone sees on Instagram, on LinkedIn, all the places, everyone's stats and figures and the highs. But what about some of the lows that you've had to learn, like the duality of business? Like, has there been anything in particular that stood out for you that you've had to navigate as you've grown as well? If you're a new coach struggling to get clients, Feel lost in all of the strategies and wondering how to turn your passion into a real business? You're not alone. So many coaches stay stuck here because they don't have a clear step-by-step plan. That's where the 5K Fast Track comes in. It's my 3-month program that helps new coaches to hit their first 5K month in just 90 days with 6 simple steps. Want the details? DM me the word START on Instagram at Sophia Rose Bernardi and I will send them your way. Now, back to the episode.
Yeah, growing my business in terms of having just different things in place, like legal and contracts, it was something that I naively never thought I would have to have in my business. And I think, hang on a minute, like it's a business. Like every single business has a legal department. And like I remember when I first had my first contracts and I was like, oh, it's just so that everyone we're on the same page and so that you know what you get and all of this, so that we're kind to each other. And I truly had the best intention. And I still love this about myself, like that kind of naivety of like, oh, everyone has good intentions, but actually not everyone does have good intentions. And there are people in this world who are just out there looking to get something back. And so it's really something that has helped me and supported me, is just knowing that like, oh, okay, I have a team for this. Like I don't have to handle it myself. I have people who are going to handle that for me. And if at the very least, if you don't have necessarily a team, like to have like just solid contracts, that's just an incredible thing that's really helped me within my business. And it's something that I've learned to navigate in terms of realizing that when you grow this quickly as well, you become a different person. I really grown, like I was if I rewind back to like, this isn't a year ago, but it's a few years ago,
Yeah.
when I was like making maybe 2 grand a month or something like that. Everyone liked me, when you're making 2 grand a month and this girl's trying and all of this stuff. And then it's like, oh, I'm doing all these sales calls and it's like, that's the 2 grand a month version of me. And then suddenly it's like 10K months, like consistent 10K cash months. And I'm not doing any sales calls. So it's like, whoa, it's like juxtaposition. It doesn't make really sense. And at that time, like when you grow to that point, like people start to test you a little bit more and are like, oh, are you all about the money now? And it's like, why do you think I'm about the money just because I make more money? Like I still have a heart and soul. Like I'm still here. And it's actually broken my heart sometimes, the messages that I've received. And I think it's important to talk to this because it does hurt when someone will maybe say something to you that like questions you in a way that you're like, what? Like, what? I can't even believe that you would think that. And so that has happened. And there's been times where it's broken my heart and it's been really like sad and like quite a challenging process for me to go through and think, whoa, like, I can't believe like I spent all this time trying to help this person and do everything I can to help them and support them. And it's come from such a like a wanting place. But at the end of the day, sometimes you can't change someone. They have to change themselves. And if they don't want to do that, there's nothing you can do about it. And so when that first happened, I was so sad about it. It was this whole thing. And I was like talking to my friends about it. I was like, oh my God. And then and now it's like, it's something that is completely different. Like I'm much further removed from that process. And if anything, it's made me more of a loving person. It's given me more compassion for people. And at the same time, just rock solid boundaries of like, that's not something that's going to affect me anymore. So that's something that really has shifted and changed coming from challenges directly within my business.
I love that. Thank you for sharing that because it's, not easy to receive those sorts of projections, really, is what I'm going to call them, right? Because it's not a fact. Someone saying that you're all about the money when, like, I obviously know you personally, and I know that that's not your number one focus. It's a byproduct of the impact that you make, right? And it really does hurt. You're so right. And so that's why I like talking about this stuff, because I think this is the stuff that happens to everyone, but it's just not spoken about publicly nearly enough. And so when it does happen to people as they grow their business, they start to think that it's, they do take it personally because there's no evidence that it happens to anyone else other than themselves. And that's why I love bringing these conversations forth. So when it happens to someone maybe listening this as they grow their business and they receive unkind messages or projections or have to go down the legal route for their terms and conditions, that they don't make it mean something about them and it's actually just a business thing, right?
Yeah, yeah, and I love this. It's like, Layla Hormozi, she like openly said she spends half of her time in litigation. So it's like,
Yeah.
okay, well,
And
this is actually something.
I remember watching that YouTube video of Layla Hormozi, and I was just like, holy crap, imagine that. Imagine if that's where like half your time in business goes. But that's like what the reality of a 100+ million business can look like, right? It's like, it's as you like people, can sometimes think, oh, as like you grow your business and make more money, like, life's just amazing and you get all this stuff. And it's like, yeah, you do, but also that there's the flip side of that. There's duality in everything in life, and that's another thing that happens, right? So, is you get more duality to hold.
Yeah, yeah, and people expect more of you. And this can be good in a way, like it can challenge you to rise and become like a better human and a better business owner as well. 100%. Like every single challenge that I've had in my business, I'm so grateful for. And especially at that time when I'd started to make like the 10K cash months, and I was like, wow, this is amazing. But I also had all those challenges started to happen. I'm so grateful that they did, because then by the time I got to a point where I was like, oh my God, we did $80,000 in sales in February. Like, whoa, like that's 1 month. Like it's totally different to 10K. It really, I was just so much more ready for that. And so it didn't feel like a thing. And someone actually messaged me and they're like, oh, whoa, I can't imagine like how it must be like to go from like such a jump. And it was like, actually, no, it feels like I'm ready for it. And I feel good about it now because I've been through so many things that prepared me for that. And so then the next time something that seemingly even bigger happened, I was just like, okay, no worries.
Yeah, and I think that this is another really important conversation because business is not linear and there's this huge ripple effect and compound effect that happens, right? And so it's so interesting that like in the beginning of business, it really just feels like this one big plateau and everything is hard and everything is far away and everything is uncertain. And then you get your first result, and then getting that next result after that is so much faster because there's the belief, and then that belief, that confidence and that skill set that's growing in all that time just increases, 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 and it gets easier and easier and faster to get these results. And so, sure, you don't see those big, big jumps necessarily for many in the very beginning, but all of a sudden that starts becoming the norm where you can jump and quantum leap, for lack of a better word, because like you've earned the right to, like you have, like you're an energetic match for it. And I think so many people earlier on in business can see these wins and be like, that's so unfair, like they're just having these big jumps, and it's like they've done the reps to make those jumps be a thing. That's why you felt normal
Yeah.
with it. It's because you'd expanded your capacity. It wasn't luck, it wasn't an accident. Like you earned that, you created that, and not necessarily from like harder work or working double time. It's just that you are better and you work smarter, and it's that compound effect. There's like the trust within yourself, but then there's also the trust in your brand externally because of
Yeah.
that ripple effect of you doing something so consistently that creates those kind of results.
Yeah, yeah, exactly that. I think so many people underestimate actually how many reps the people that you look up to have put in more than you. It's just a thing.
100%. 100%. Like so many people don't even know the half of it. Like I literally did a post on this today on social media, like all the things that I did in the beginning of my business outside of just posting content. Like, because I just see so many unhealthy expectations these days. Is like someone will start a coaching business, all their content is copy and pasted from ChatGPT, and they're like, why isn't my business growing? Why aren't I making money? I'm like, because it's literally from AI and you're not doing anything outside of that. You're just like hoping that it all works out. Like you've actually got to like go out of your way, I think, in the beginning. That's just my personal belief. And
Yeah.
when I think back to when I started my business, I don't know if you relate to this or not, but I'm really grateful that I didn't have AI because I had to learn the skill set and build it. I use it now and I love it, but I'm glad that I have the skill set and I like had to learn that on my own because I did so many things outside of just creating content, like putting flyers in letterboxes and running in-person retreats and running workshops and sending emails to people and collaborating with people and running events. And I just did everything I possibly could to like expand my network and grow my audience, like in addition to quote unquote just posting content. Do you feel the same with when you started? Like there's so much people don't even realize that you did to get up and running.
Oh yeah, massively. Like throughout the whole of COVID, like I was doing every single day 2 yoga sessions a day online. I was like frantically doing everything I can to grow my business in between that time. Like I did not stop. Like I was sending like DMs to like Pretty Little Thing to do like a collaborative like yoga session online, and that did really well. And I did like in-person yoga sessions when I was in London on the side of my job. You know, I started to build a personal brand before I even quit my job. And then, yeah, and then hosted so many retreats in Ibiza when I did not have any qualifications to like host a retreat. Like, yeah, I'd done my yoga qualification. Yeah, I'd done like Reiki and meditation, but like no one really teaches you how to do a retreat. And I learned so much how to do that. And I invested like £10,000 to hire this villa for a week in Ibiza back in 2022. And it worked. Like I just put my neck on the line so much more than a lot of people are willing to do. And I just trusted that it would work. And I'm still doing those things today. Like I'm still putting my neck on the line in a way that I don't see many people do. And I think
Exactly.
that's something like in business, like actually taking risks. Are you actually taking risks? Because if you're not, then that's a key part of business.
I 100% agree. Like our like putting our neck on the line just looks different now. So like I might not be putting flyers in people's letterboxes. I'm just like, but I'm putting money into Facebook ads. There's a risk associated with that. I'm paying for a team. There's a risk associated with that. I'm really putting myself out there, with in so many different ways. And there's risks associated with all of those things. But then you also get the results from that. And so yeah, I just wanted to hear your perspective on that because so many people kind of look at people's success with where they're at now and not realize how much truly went into that. Like even for example, how you don't do sales calls anymore, right? But you did like so much shit in the beginning and built your way up to that point. Do you know what I mean? And I think
Yeah.
that's the piece that people need to remember is that there's like all this stuff beforehand that kind of gave you that permission slip to kind of run business in that smoother way.
Oh yeah, like I had this post go viral in 2022 on LinkedIn. I was booked up with sales calls for a month and a half. I did a month and a half flat 9 till 5, probably sometimes even 6 or 7 on freaking sales calls. And so I really got my
Dose of
reps in
sales
with
calls.
that. And I knew how to, by the end of that, take someone through a process of a sale. And so now I can do that so much quicker just through my content or just through a DM conversation from a voice note, just one voice note. Like there's so many things that I can do so much quicker now because I did all of that legwork before. And yeah, like I'm constantly putting my neck on the line. I just put my neck on the line with this massive venue for this event that I just told you about. That, like we've
Yeah.
not even launched yet. And you were like, oh, do you know, like, how do you know like 200 or 300 people are going to be at that event? And I'm like, I just know that they are. And it's one of those things that like, that's going to be a massive investment of time, energy, money, all of the things. But I'm going to do it. And I'm so excited.
Yeah, and I love that unwavering belief, and that's why I asked. I was like, because that's like such a big commitment to make. And I just love your trust and certainty within yourself. I think that that's so essential for business success.
Yeah, and I think when you have a vision, I think this is something that can serve so many people more. It's just allowing yourself to like envisage like the most amazing thing that you could be doing in your business right now. And when I did that and I saw this venue, I was like, that's it. Like this is luxury. It's got this like wellness touch that I love. Like we can get geeky with the business as a stage. Like there's pools, there's hot tubs. Like, okay, yeah, this is it. Like this is the biggest vision, the most beautiful vision for my business that I could have. So I think when you also allow yourself to dream big as well, you can then start taking the action toward that dream.
I love that so much. Thank you for sharing. Before we start to wrap up, I'm really curious, like, is there anything that's, any rituals or like, do you have a routine? Is there any specific things from like that mindset side of things, or just even in your personal life, like some foundations that you're
Mm.
really big on that supports the growth of your business?
Oh yeah, this is huge. Like
Yeah.
the amount of personal growth and mindset work I do is wild. So yeah, like I love tapping. I do tapping a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Meditation, yoga, going for runs, those things. Like I always have those non-negotiables in my life. I'm always feeding my brain with positive things, whether it be listening to a podcast like this, or whether it be listening to like just like voice notes that I know are going to be really positive to listen to. I love this app called To Be Magnetic. Like it's so good. It's like this manifestation app. So I spent so many hours just like journaling and writing things, doing these like long, deep meditations. That's also where one of the meditations that came from that I told you about at the beginning was
Oh,
from
yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and like reading books, and I'm constantly my whole life is a dance of personal development. Like I'm constantly like every single person I meet, like I'm in Morocco at the moment, and I met this guy, and we just like he just he's someone who's so entrepreneurial, and he like helped me out with this amazing thing for a photo shoot. And so I was like, I really want to repay you. So I did pay him some money, but then he was also like, please, can you help me with my LinkedIn? So I was like, yeah, sure. So I sat down with him for like 2.5 hours, like working on his LinkedIn. And then we're also having like such like philosophical like conversations as well. And like everything in life you can learn something from. So I think this is also even more, it's like I have a puppy right now that I'm training, and I adopted her in Morocco as well. So it's like so many things. Like life is our teacher, and I think when you can like just remember that life is your teacher. Like she's, bless her soul, it's hard to raise a puppy. I did not know what I was getting myself in for. Like just taking this puppy off the street and thinking it's all going to be like berries and roses. And like she's an amazing dog. But of course, like there's times where like she's up in the night, I'm not getting any sleep. I'm like, what? I'm not used to not getting sleep. And then it's like maybe she'll want to play, and she's like jumping around, or like she bites a cushion, and I'm like, that's an expensive cushion. Like it's like all of these things. But then I say to myself, you know what? This is the greatest gift. And I think when you can do that with your challenges, like the thing that you think is a problem in your life, and I did the same thing with all the like stuff I've been in my business through as well, like legal stuff or whatever it is. I'm like, this is the greatest gift, and I promise you it is the greatest gift, even when you think it's not. The challenge, like she is teaching me presence at a time where I'm scaling my business to like 7 figures and beyond. Like I have this like immediate need of presence, which is like,
And
wow, that's like
patience.
the patience. Yes, you took it out of my mouth. That's what I was going to say. It's like these are the two like most important things I could ever have in my life. So thank you.
Wow,
Yeah.
I love your mindset. I love that perspective so much, how you just flip something that could so easily be frustrating, annoying, a regret, or whatever, and you've just turned it into a gift that flows into every area of your life.
Yeah, and trust me, like I had the breakdown as well. Like I had the moment where I was like crying, and I was like, this is too much. And it's just on the other side of that. So it's like allow yourself. You're a human being. You can feel frustrated, you can regret stuff, or feel a certain way about something. She's eating something at the moment. I don't even know what it is. I'm like, please be okay. And at the same time, then on the other side of it, you choose what it means. I truly believe your whole life is determined by this life, business, everything. Like, is what you make something mean.
Mm.
Like this podcast between you and me, this 2.5 hours we've spent together, like recording 2 podcasts back to back. Like, what do we make it mean? Like, oh, what an amazing collaboration! What an amazing, like,
Yeah.
enriching conversation to have. Even
Connection, opportunity. Yeah.
yeah, and there can be that time of like, oh, this is tiring to talk for 2.5 hours. So it could be like,
But more like, if
like
anything, my cheeks hurt from smiling for 2.5 hours. I've just been smiling the whole time. My jaw hurts.
me
I'm like,
too.
I need to
Yeah.
frown more as I'm listening.
No, it takes
Oh,
more muscles to frown, actually.
oh, shit.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. That makes
But
sense.
we could do a massage.
No, I love that. And thank you for sharing that. When it comes to like challenges though, like maybe something in your personal life or when something immediately does happen in your business and you are first going through that phase of like this is shit or this is hard or you're not feeling too good. Is there a go-to thing that you go and do? I'm assuming it's different for every emotion and situation, but yeah, how have you navigated like personal stuff like coming up and still showing up for clients and still showing up online?
Oh yeah, I regulate myself. I think this is really important is to regulate yourself. If you're frustrated in any way, shape, or form, that's a form of dysregulation. If you're like upset, if you're like feeling a certain way, like it's dysregulation. So yeah, I would always regulate myself before. And this is what I mean. It's the simple things, whether you need to go on a run, whether you need to journal about things. But I very quickly flip the script. I very quickly find the learning, even if I don't quite believe it yet. I'm like, this is gonna be the best thing for me. I believe it. And this is why I did the whole like the Phoenix season when like I had this like horrific breakup and it involved like just a lot of very traumatic things that had happened that I won't go into detail, but also like the material loss of my car through no fault of my own. It was hard. Like literally like your car is your vehicle of freedom. And I love freedom. And so to have like no car, no boyfriend from one day to the next, I was like, whoa, this is so much to go through. And to tie that all in with some kind of like things that happened, it's like from day one of that, I was gutted. I was really upset. I was going through so much, but at the same time, I was immediately like, this is going to make me, I'm going to rise. And so it's like, it's just that delusional sense of hope that really creates incredible things in your life.
Wow. Thank you for sharing that. I think that that's so powerful for people to hear that so that if they're going through a challenge right now, it's like, what's the lesson here? What is it I need to move through to be able to, yeah, move forwards?
Yeah, always. And it's like, I think that's why I did so well, like, regardless of that, because I didn't make it something that I need to process forever.
Mm.
I allowed myself to process, but I don't need to take like however long out of my business. Yeah, I'll take 3 days off. I'll be completely unplugged. I'll completely serve myself and look after myself in that time when I need the nurturing. And then I'll go back to business and I'll alchemize my pain into something productive that can help someone else.
I love that. This has been such a powerful conversation. If people want to learn more about you and how you can support them, where can people find you?
Oh my gosh, you can find me on LinkedIn, Georgia St. John Smith. You can find me on Instagram, Georgia St. John Smith, and also my podcast on Georgia's Mind, where you will also find an interview that I just did with Sophia.
We will link all of that below so people can find you. So thank you so much for your time, your love, your energy. I know that everyone's going to love this.
Thank you.
If you enjoyed this episode, please don't forget to hit subscribe. It means the world to me, and I promise to keep bringing you top tier coaching insights every single week. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you in the next one.